They're taking the 1% of the most popular videos and they're shadow banning them for some reason. The stuff that people most engage with and most come to YouTube for. The more they crack down, the more they guarantee their own demise.
If we're not making a huge successes online, then I don't know how we're going to do it in person. But maybe that's what it's going to take. Make people get out on the streets and get off their butts and from behind the computers and start protesting and going door to door and talking to people about this kind of stuff. Because I mean, if it's just all completely banned off of YouTube, is that the whole world just going to go along with that? Like,
so you're willing to show up at a protest, at like Google headquarters?
Absolutely, absolutely. We're past due needing to get out from behind the computers. YouTube will isolate offensive videos that don't violate policy. So ADL or some kind of trusted flagger program at YouTube just decides, off their personal bias that they're gonna pull something down. And clearly the ADL. These are all ADL headlines here. The ADL combating cyber hate and countering violent extremists online. Facebook, Google, Microsoft, Twitter, and ADL announce a lab to engineer new solutions to stop cyber hate. Google and YouTube are a monopoly of internet streaming. There's no alternative. So criminal that these guys are in charge of social media regulating speech. Here's CNN. YouTube says it has a plan to stem the flow of misinformation from videos. Little Brian Stelter at CNN is behind that one too. USA Today. YouTube is cracking down on, quote, fake news with new text previews. Completely suppressed. This is criminal. It should be an even playing field. You can't just promote some info and bury other info and call it conspiracy and never have an honest conversation about it. Of course, if they're censoring conspiracy theories, they're going to be censoring anti-Semitism too. They can't deal with the competition. They can't deal with real independent journalism. The YouTube algorithms need to be fair. It needs to be whatever gets the most comments, the most thumbs up, the most shares gets seen. It has to be a fair, even playing field. Otherwise, it's just pure promotion of the mainstream media.
Well, I can't expect to have people tune in anymore. Have to use new methods to get shit out there. I don't know. What do you know? What do you know? How's it? I already talked about that. They always say it's a far right conspiracy theory. Mother effers. We have some just incredibly damaging news if you're a YouTuber who likes to tell the truth, or if you're anyone who likes to ask questions about anything. This is from YouTube's official blog, Friday, January 25th, 2019. Continuing our work to improve recommendations on YouTube. That's why we update our recommendation system all the time. We want to make sure we're suggesting videos that people actually want to watch, including taking a closer look at how we can reduce the spread of content that comes close to, but doesn't quite cross the line of, violating our community guidelines. To that end, we'll begin reducing recommendations of borderline content and content that could misinform users in harmful ways. Content that comes close to, doesn't quite cross the line of, violating our community guidelines. There's a line somewhere where your content now considered coming close to breaking community guidelines. I mean, my numbers have already been going way down recently, so I'm guessing they already instituted some sort of a program. People will react. Adam says we should be marching. Maybe we do need to get together and start doing that. My people, anybody who's questioning things, I mean, say, oh, it's dangerous misinformation. No such thing, actually. No such thing, not in our Constitution. While this shift will apply to less than 1% of the content on YouTube, we believe that limiting the recommendation of these types of videos will mean a better experience for the YouTube community. You're in trouble because you almost broke the law. You almost broke the law, so we're creating a new special jail for you. It's better than the real jail. You're not in the real jail. You're in this jail, but it feels, it feels like you're free. I'll tell you, if your video shows up in a recommended next to another popular video, and it shows up in the up next and then just auto plays into your video, that's when you get a lot of traffic. But this says that will never happen. We think this change strikes a balance between maintaining a platform for free speech and living up to our responsibility to users. Sorry, what does this do to the user? This means you will never get a recommendation for a channel that you're not subscribed to if they talk about stuff like, Israel being involved in 9/11. I don't know if we're going into a winter or what, but, they already made it pretty difficult with the, nothing being able to be monetized or anything. And now, no views, and I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but this change relies on a combination of machine learning and real people. We work with human evaluators and experts from all over the United States to help train the machine learning systems that generate recommendations. These evaluators are trained using public guidelines and provide critical input on the quality of a video, and initially will only affect recommendations of a very small set of videos in the United States. The United States, why not over the world? In the United States, that's interesting. Borderline content that may misinform users in harmful ways. Then they talk about how misinformation spread. That was a big deal. I thought maybe some other creators might jump in.
Everybody should be talking about this. They say that this is free speech. We think this is free speech. What they're saying by banning conspiracy theories on the monopoly video streaming site is saying that independent journalists can't question the government narrative anymore.
That's it.
It's that fundamental right that we have to say, I don't believe the government. I'm researching my own thing, and I don't care what you say. We're not allowed to do that anymore. We are going to be suppressed while quote unquote authoritative sources are going to be promoted to the top, as if they don't have enough of an advantage already with their billions of dollars and endless funds and corporate sponsors and huge multi-million-dollar studios.
I've been talking about it. When you run a search for anything, the first thing that pops up is CNN, MSNBC, regardless. And you notice they don't have that many views. So even though they're serving them up first for everybody, hardly anybody's watching them. Views are going to go away then, won't they? Won't people just not watch YouTube as much?
When you have the rules that are biased for one opinion and then all the other opinions are suppressed, it's just going to create a total disaster. It's a recipe for disaster.
What do you think a solution is for it?
I think lawsuits. It has to be a lawsuit or some type of peaceful protest. Yeah, our channels now are going to be flagged to never go viral again. They're never going to show up in any suggestions. Almost like they want all our channels shut down. They don't want us to be able to fund ourselves. They take some people's PayPals. I mean, at a point where you're stopping the free flow of information and just me trying to put my message out to the world, they're just saying, nope, you can't communicate. People can't comment on that video anymore. It's limited state. We don't want anybody to know how many people have viewed it. You can't know how popular it is. You can't share it. Who gives them the right to decide what can be shared and what's a conspiracy theory? They'll just censor it and call it a conspiracy. This is criminal. There needs to be some kind of rule. They call it community guidelines, but they don't care what the community says. One trusted flagger from the ADL B'nai B'rith, an organization that's all about protecting Israel, essentially. They're in charge of regulating all the internet and all social media. How do we allow that to happen? How is that okay? How can anybody argue that that's okay, that they're the ones in charge of regulating everybody's speech?
They talk about how anti-Semitism is automatically a conspiracy theory.
Oh yeah, that's going to be gone. Just like all over Europe, it's illegal to question World War II. That they're going to bring that here, and then if you can't question World War II, what's going to stop them from saying we can't question 9/11?
Yeah, where do you draw the line?
They claim that all these conspiracies are completely baseless and there's no proof behind them, but that so many people believe them that they have to censor them because they know better than everybody else.
To make it a better experience, they say. This will make it a better experience for viewers.
Google needs to be broken up, antitrust laws. They are literally Terminator, Genesis, Skynet, way too big of a monopoly. Their ability with artificial intelligence and the search results and the algorithms, they could totally make false consensus and sway public opinion. And it's like they could still leave us on, and we get 10,000 views, 20,000 views. That's not enough to ever do anything. As long as they can keep us, on our internet ghetto, out on the fringes, away from the mainstream, and get like really viral videos into the millions, we may feel like we're making a little difference, and we may feel like we're having an impact, but really we're never going to be able to. They're never going to allow. The revolution will not be on YouTube, essentially, is what I'm trying to say.
Basically, they're telling us right now that if you talk about stuff that's real, your video's not gonna be seen.
People love the truth. They can sniff out the truth. And notice that Alex Jones is being deplatformed, almost set the precedent for all of this, right? Like kind of normalize the idea that, we just ban conspiracies now, all off the internet, everywhere.
Yeah.
And he's going down, which makes me think it's a psyop. What is Trump doing to help his buddy Alex Jones? Nothing. Alex Jones still is blaming China for all these censorship, when we all know that it's the ADL and the hate index and the SPLC and Israel that are involved with doing all this censorship. I have a huge problem with this. Alex Jones has been saying that China is behind the censorship. It's clearly the ADL. These are all ADL headlines here. The ADL combating cyber hate and countering violent extremists online. Facebook, Google, Microsoft, Twitter, and ADL announced lab to engineer new solutions to stop cyber hate. Down here, ADL applauds Google and YouTube in expanding initiative to fight hate. They've also got one called the Hate Index, where they're using artificial intelligence to scan everything on social media and shadow ban it and censor it and stuff. He's making China out to be the bad guys and giving, like he always does, Israel total cover.
It's a fact that China's buying up studios in Hollywood. So.
They got blocked on a lot of those, and you really think the Jews that founded Hollywood are just going to give up the control?
Alex Jones isn't going to help with the fight. He's going along with the psyop. Let's say that's maybe the case, right? Yeah. Because now it starts to make sense that the step after banning Alex Jones, being the head of the spear, tip of the spear, now they're cracking down on other conspiracy videos, and everybody thinks, oh, okay, that's how it goes. Okay, we're going to go along with that. And if Alex Jones was legit, he would be suing YouTube. I mean, there's no two ways about it. He would be suing YouTube for loss of income and everything else. I mean, it's not fair. I mean, there's money involved in this whole thing. People's livelihoods are at stake, and they just go after, and it's happened in one YouTuber after another. I mean, if you've started to rely on your income from, your channel being a certain size or having a certain built-in audience or whatever it is, then all of a sudden, you're fucked, man.
It's burning books. They are literally burning books and suppressing and burying history. None of the channels I subscribe to with their new stuff comes up. It's all garbage, clickbait stuff that I'm not interested in. I click not interested over and over, and the same crap keeps coming up. We are not allowed to dissent anymore.
They can never stop us, though, entirely. They can never stop the information entirely. Whatever it takes to get the information out, I think there's going to be a way to do it. It's just a question of in what, quantities, or, whether you're able to do it in any kind of way that's monetizable.
If we're not making a huge successes online, then I don't know how we're going to do it in person. But maybe that's what it's going to take. Maybe that'll be their downfall. If they censor us offline, that'll be, overplaying their hand, and it'll make people get out on the streets and get off their butts and from behind the computers and start protesting and going door to door and talking to people about this kind of stuff. Because I mean, if it's just all completely banned off of YouTube, is that the whole world just going to go along with that? Like we're past due needing to get out from behind the computers. I mean, it's bad. It is really bad right now.
It's too much for most people to deal with.
BitChute and my website, nomorenews.org, that's the backup. But they'll come after those too. If they can kick us off the internet, they're not going to stop. Or off the social media, they'll start going after the domain hosts and WordPress. they're all moving over, and all the technology's moving over to Israel anyway.
Oh.
My video with Bolin had 120,000 views and 95% thumbs up, and they pull it down. Like, it's because the information is dangerous and it's true. We're vindicated by them trying to. What's the quote? Like, when you cut off a man's tongue, you don't prove him a liar. You prove you're scared of his truth or something. If you make peaceful impossible, you make the other type of revolution inevitable.
We are about a revolution. I mean, I think that's what it needs. And that starts with stuff like the yellow vests. And now it's very early. We're the first ones talking about it. People are going to be making videos about this, though.